First principle thinking is key
What
to
is
who
that
he
for anyone
is.
that doesn't know?
And first principles thinking is whenever you're faced with a problem, you just go back to the very basic physics of it. Not all the rules and regulations and not all the metaphors you may have saying, here's the way to do things. But you first off say, there are no rules, there's no regulations, there's no protocols except for the laws of physics. Everything else is just a recommendation. And to give you a concrete example, when he decides that he wants to send people into space as a young guy, at first he goes to Russia to see if he can buy used rockets. And they jack him around. It doesn't work. And on the plane flight home, he says, let me go to first principles thinking. Exactly how much is the cost of each material in a rocket? How much is the Inconel? How much is the carbon fiber? How much is the fuel? And then how much is the total cost of a rocket compared to the cost of each of the components? And that's first principles thinking, which is, I get it. I know the material cost, but if I can reduce by a factor of 10 the manufacturing cost, then I can make a rocket. And so somebody will tell him, hey, we need to have this patch or this piece of felt in the bottom of a Tesla. And he'd say, tell me what the physics of the principles of physics that make that true are.
When he's pursuing first principles, what is he trying to get around and past that frustrates him?
Regulations, rules, people who won't take risks. He says that, the U.S. was a nation of risk takers. Whether you came on the Mayflower, or you came across the Rio Grande, or you came from Eastern Europe fleeing oppression, your family took risks. But now we've got more regulators than we have risk takers. We have more referees and people building guardrails and lawyers telling you that's probably not a good idea. Then we have people willing to shoot up a rocket. And I think by going back to first principles, he wants to be able to not only calculate risk, but take risk more than most people would.
Was Steve Jobs the same in that regard?
Steve Jobs was not focused on hardware engineering in the same way. Wozniak was his partner. But yes, Jobs had a particular phrase, very famous now, which was think different. And when Steve Jobs went back to Apple after his, sort of like Sam Altman, come and go, come and go. It took Steve Jobs a decade, not a weekend to do it. He wrote an ad for Apple, and it had pictures of Einstein and other disruptive intellectuals. And it said, here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the round pegs in the square hole, the ones who think different. Mm. And then it ends by saying, because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. And that was Steve Jobs' way of thinking, and it also describes Elon Musk.
Have you seen moments yourself when you were following him where he was confronted by someone who had a default to telling him why things couldn't happen and why they couldn't be done?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's like 20, 30 times in the book, and he goes ballistic. I'll tell you a fun one, which is just last Christmas, not too long ago.